where we have a separate pump. And instead of, it's the same as refrigeration. Instead of using one big pump to pump that chilled water to everything in the store, I will zone it and use smaller pumps for each. So I will have, if my one big pump goes down, everything goes down. But if one pump goes down, I can distribute that food to something else and hold it there.
So you have zone valve.
Yeah. So I'm going to use zone pump or zone valve. Actually, I'm going to use the pump. I prefer the pump.
Okay.
So let's say I get a call, right? That, you know, I don't have these 4 boxes, they're not quite up to temperature. They're not as cold as they need to be. Instead of holding at 38 degrees, I'm at 42 degrees. And you go there, my pump is running, chill water temperature is okay. Hey, temperature here is the same. And I'm going, the temperature is what I expect it to be, right? My temperature going in is okay, but my temperature now, let's say this is returning, right? What I find, instead of a 20-degree differential, and that's just a number I'm putting out to you, I find I have 25 degrees temperature difference in the water going in as opposed to the water going out. But I'm still not at temperature in the system.
So you're taking 25 degrees of heat out of the box, but you're still not good.
But
Well, you're picking up 20, you're picking up at 25.
you're picking up heat to heat up that there. Now, imagine this is superheat, and it's a refrigeration system, and that was refrigerant. If I get 25 degree superheat, what does it mean?
Means you have too much
Do you?
refrigerant.
Do you?
Right, you're just starving the refrigerant.
Right.
You got it.
That's what they're going to do.
What am I doing there if I have?
You don't have enough glycol in the system to push through to
Right.
keep it cold enough.
And each of these are giving me the same reading. So there has to be something with that pump probably not running at the right speed to push the volume of water now.
Flow rate.
So it doesn't have the flow rate.
So the pump is not strong.
So the pump is not strong. Just like hydronics heating, pump is not strong enough. Because here's where some good old elbow grease come in. Because each of these require X gallons per minute to get me to this temperature and remove that amount of BTUs in terms of heat, right? You get the drift where I'm going.
Yeah.
So what we normally do is that if I know this is I don't know how many, I know how many BTUs I'm supposed to remove, but I do not know how that translates into gallon per minute. So there's no way for me to measure if I'm getting enough water going in there. Because one of the things we do is actually open up this thing there and draw water in a bucket and measure it over a minute period. See how many gallons we get and see if it matches. But if I do not know how many gallons I'm supposed to get there, but I do know how many BTUs is in there, I can find out how many gallons that thing requires. And here's how it works. Let's say this is 10,000 BTU. This is 10,000, right? And this is 5. I'm going to put some wrong numbers so it. I don't know if you guys ever seen this, but now I have
Yeah, we did see this.
10, 20, 30,000 BTUs. So for this system, for me to be able to absorb 30,000 BTU of heat, how do I find out how much gallons per minute water I need to circulate, water I need to circulate? if you remember.
It's the QT equation, right?
It is an
Of course
equation.
it's an equation.
The QT, I mean, no, I say it's the QT equation, times 500 times.
Okay, I'm gonna put Q T equal 500 times delta
Right, that's
T.
it.
There's something you left out right there.
CFMs.
No,
No.
GPM.
GPM, sorry,
GPM.
GPM, not CPM, GPM, sorry, it's water, right.
GPM. And if you got that, I can calculate how many gallons a minute I need to get out there, and that's gonna tell me whether this pump is working.
So it's 500 X?
500
times
GPM.
Okay, 500 gallons.
It'll be times 25,
Times
times
20,
25,
you
right?
want 20, right?
What will it be, 20?
Yeah.
5 is just,
If you want a 20-degree,
he says
Delta.
5 is
No, this is because I was starving.
That's right.
you want 20 degrees.
I want 20 degrees
You want
here,
20,
So
so,
that would
Delta
be
is
500 GPM times 20.
so 30,000
Over,
divided by 500 times 20.
2, 3, which is
1,
50,
2, 3, 1,
150.
2, 3. 5 trees.
Yeah,
5 into 30 is 6 gallons per minute. So,
what about the two?
Oh.
3 gallons a minute.
3 gallons a minute, sorry. Yeah, I know I had 3 up there. So, I need to circulate the 3 gallons fluid per minute to that whole system in order for it to cool down to the desired temperature. So now I can.
How do you check besides cutting the hole? And
No,
No,
you
that-
said drain it and
Yeah.
What
That's
you
the
do
only
is
way.
downstream,
Yeah.
we check. Some of these they have
Valve.
they have flow meter that will tell you what it is, but not. I mean, nobody's gonna put a flow meter in there. The old-fashioned ways, you know. There is always drain cock there, right?
Yeah. That goes
And you open it and check how many gallons per minute. Because if I am, if I need 3 gallons per minute, right? Then I need 1 GPM here. I need 1 GPM here. I need 0.5 here and 0.5 there, right?
Yep.
It ain't hard to check 1 gallon per minute.
No.
I mean, this is,
Gallon bucket and stuff.
yeah, that's how we do it. We get it. Like, if I know I expect to get 15 gallons per minute there, I get like 4 or 5 gallon buckets and fill it. Mind you, I can reuse the coolant because there is a storage tank where I can refill it. You know? So that's
So
how
you
we
can
find
take it out
and-
to measure it and just put it back into the system.
Yeah, and this is how you measure for hydronic heating system too. That equation holds true. And fan speed is 1.08 times CFM. Same formula holds there. So the formula is that just one of the numbers or designation changes and you can get whatever you need from it. So this wasn't all that like rocket science, you know. You finish?
Yep.
Oh.
Got it.
Next time you see me pick up this, tell me to stop, all right, if you haven't finished. Because I got the experience. You used to really move fast and you race from one board. Because normally I have like 3 of these, twice a leg. And I fill them up one after the other.
Well, they need to get some more
Now the course that you teach, the course you teach in Suffolk, what is the course you teach in Suffolk?
HVAC.
I'm saying, but how much more advanced is it than over here?
Very, very.
I'm asking, I'm curious.
Very.
What you guys are doing, you're just getting the Imagine that bucket is 1 gallon of milk, right?
Yeah.
You're getting this much off of the tap. We go right down to the bottom of the.
You do it all, huh?
Well, I was just curious, that's all.
But you get a degree.
So we would have been better off just going to Suffolk.
I have no idea.
Well, no, because you would have to take 2 years of
Regular.
regular
associates, huh?
English,
Yeah.
English and math and social studies.
Yeah.
You would have never
just
paid
take
that,
classes.
Mike.
What's that?
Yeah, you can just take classes.
Mike,
You get all that tomorrow.
See, he said you could just take
yeah, but
classes.
to get a degree in it or whatever.
You
And
can
like
just
they
take
use
a
things
senior
there
associate.
called computers. Remember, like I gave you 6 months ago? I gave him a computer 6 months ago.
He hasn't turned it on yet.
Oh, he did. He turned it on.
Yeah,
The
his
way
kids
to the
stole
mailman
it.
is one of the easy ones.
Turn it on and play solid.
No,
I've never played
he
solitaire.
doesn't know how to do that.
Oh man.
He doesn't know where to find it.
He's still complaining to the mailman about emails, eh? That's my email. What's
I
wrong with
dropped the
you?
whole bottle of sangria right in for water last
I wonder why they put
Put it
this
in the
up
freezer.
to compare for
It
comparison.
needs to be frosted up a little. I opened the freezer for my second cup and it
Let me see why I put that.
You know, Mike?
And that's
He's getting all kind of sexy Casey. He's getting sexy. Yeah.
I don't say, yeah.
Casey's loving
Oh,
it.
you're a hopeless romantic.
Right?
just. No. I
Casey's
bought it
enjoying
because I
himself.
couldn't find any of the. I wasn't in the liquor store. It was 12 o'clock at night.
Oh, they look nice and shiny.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay, this is my chiller station. It should be. You notice the kind of insulation these things have?
Yeah.
You will see that at any chiller, regular chiller too, you will see that. But for refrigeration, we're way, way below 2 point temperatures. So it's gonna attract moisture to those pipes like crazy. You have to insulate. Typically, the insulation here is about 1 inch thick, the outer walls.
That's Armorflex, right?
Yes, it is Armorflex.
It used to be asbestos. They
Yes.
used asbestos.
I remember in the older days, I used to mix asbestos in a 5-gallon bucket and slap it on the pipe, and then you kind of make.
That's
Oh,
when it was
man.
healthy, right? That's when asbestos was healthy.
That's when they said it was healthy for you.
Yeah.
You know.
I've-
Then I got the slap in the face and the kick in the butt that tell me, hey, it's not good for you.
How
But you know
dare
what?
you mix it like that?
It was too late by then.
It was too late by then. It already was in my system. And I ain't get nothing for it.
You can check yourself and have something.
Except grease.
You should do it.
Sorry. What those the bottom? Those are.
That's what I had to do
Those
when I was working in the ammonia plant.
okay.
That's
Pump. These should be your chiller pumps. This is your chiller
So they're
tanks.
circulating water.
Yes. Water glycol mix.
Is there any time they just do straight glycol?
Yes, the lower the temperature will, you want to get the
stronger the glycol.
the stronger the glycol is. And this section here, you see, those are my compressors in that section. So I
This is
have.
nice stuff.
the,
That's going up to the chiller tower.
Well, that's going to go either to condensing unit up on top of the roof.
Yeah, which could be a
Or it
chiller
could be
tower or
water cooled towers.
water cooled or air cooled.
Yes, it could be or a combination.
Yeah.
Because even though, guys, even though I have a water cooled tower, if the ambient is low enough, I will not need to circulate the water, I just circulate air. Because you have, apart from the pumping water, we also have an air blower inside these towers. Alright, so on decent day, like today with the prevailing winds and everything,
Right.
we use fan alone. But it prevent, you always have the water back up. It's like, sometimes when I go to some small mom and pop deli or those bodegas, and they have all these refrigeration things inside the kitchen, and right next to it is a pizza oven, and up there is red hot. Even though it's kind of illegal, some guys put, I didn't say me, you know this, some guys put a water cool condenser in addition to the air cool condenser there. So the water cool condenser in that case becomes like a secondary cooler. Because in the winter, we may not need the water to cool it. The building is cold enough. And the fan takes over, which is normally what it's supposed to do. And as the temperature rises, the water cool condenses start trickling more and more water into the
As the ambient temperature
system.
rises.
Yes,
the more-
to cool that thing. So depends on where you put it. One will be primary and one will be secondary cooling. Right? That's however you configure it. You can configure for the fan to be primary, water secondary, or water primary, fan secondary. Yeah, so. Yeah, this refrigeration thing, there's a lot of things you can do in these systems, you know, or not that you can do, that sometimes you have to do to make these things work. And half of them, they're not conventional.
Or legal.
I'm not going to put my neck on a block and say, hey, they're kind of like outside of the normal.
The gray area.
Flexibility.
Gray area.
Yeah, they're outside the normal practices, let's say that. And that area is very gray because honestly,
gray.
not everybody, even the code officers don't even know what the hell code to apply
Yeah,
to
no,
these things, you know?
the
Because, you know, in
the
a,
code books change anyway, so.
whenever you drain out a walk-in box, the condensate drain into a floor drain, before time it used, I needed to see 1 inch air gap between the drain
And the floor.
and
The floor.
the floor. Now, that was accepted, then all of a sudden, another health inspector come in, oh, I want to see 6 inches.
Okay.
But you already made a hole through the box,
Mm.
and you already put it at 1 inch. The job was inspected, you had your CO,
Yeah.
and then some other health officer come and say, oh, I don't want it this way. And I know of cases where that happened, so it
What
seems,
year are they up to with the code book?
I don't know which one,
Oh.
because I really don't ask them what year. I just say, hey, you know what? Before I do anything, you tell me what you want, how I should do it, right? Give me specification. If you put it in writing, hey, so much the merrier, you know? But sometimes, and they have the authority to shut down a place or fine you, because if it's a health code violation, you have to go to court. And the judge or whosoever, it seems that the only number they know is $500 and up. They don't know anything below that. So,
Plus a court fee.
yes, plus
And
the
a
court,
later court fee.
you know.
18.8 degrees.
Yes, you see that's, see this has ice?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause anything that can get,
You see, it's exposed, so it has ice.
Insulate.
And at 18 degrees, whatever moisture gets there is going to freeze.
Even the ball valve too.
So,
yep, right, even on the handle of the
Yeah,
wall valve.
yeah.
It's freezing up right there. So
yeah, everything is,
and that's because the moisture is rushing to it because there's no moisture in there.
yeah, and this is your chill water, and they always label them, guys, supply and return. I think that's before they kind of no, that's in the air handler itself, so. Yeah, it looks like this is in the air handler itself, so you don't need to, if this is in the casing, you don't need to insulate in the casing. You guys recognize this in your freezer? Those old-time refrigerators had freezers like
Stamped
this.
evaporators?
Yeah, the stamp plate
Yeah.
evaporators. So this is, where the heck did I see this? I work on a deli in Kings Park that had this set up, but I can't remember which one it is. I can't remember where the heck the deli is, anyhow, I mean what the location is. But I did work on one that it had this, all right? All they did is put these pans at the bottom and circulate water and then the food. There is there will be a plate over this where you put your product.
And there's water running over them?
Water is running through.
Oh, I know, through, yeah.
Through here, just like your fridge at home, the refrigerant runs through the freezer there. But in this case, it's water.
Oh, and glycol.
Well, water glycol, sorry.
Liquid CO2.
See the CO2? I personally never work on this. I've seen them, but I've personally never worked on them. But it work.
Isn't that what they keep beer lines called with, the liquid CO2?
The what?
Beer lines?
Beer
Taps.
lines?
Like beer taps and bars.
taps.
No.
They have kegerators.
That's to keep the pressure in the keg constant,
If you see
so
the
it don't go flat.
If you see the CO2 system for beers, typically this CO2 is if they have a soda system.
Right.
They use G-mix for beer. G-mix is a mixture of nitrogen and CO2. CO2 itself makes the beer taste miserable. Come on, you don't want to drink beer that has this. But the G-mix, which was designed for beer, that makes the beer taste as beer should taste. This CO2, all this CO2 does for a beer system or a soda system is drive the pumps to pump the syrup to the fountain, and then the CO2 mixes with the water that's coming out and the syrup, because they come in two different, the syrup and water comes out from two different nozzles, and it comes into your glass.
That's
But
like
there's a little,
Oh, yeah, the
soda
soda.
soda fountain when you push
Yes.
it in the house, you know.
there's a little pump, water pump with a pressure tank that has the water. So this pump pressurizes that tank, and the tank has CO2, a certain percentage being fed into that water there.
Makes
So
carbonate.
under pressure, CO2 stays in the water under pressure, and as you draw the soda, pressure is reduced, CO2
Carbonate.
comes out, right? And that forms the
Carbonate.
the effervescence in your drink. So that gives you the carbonation in your drink.
Yeah.
All right? But CO2 itself don't mix with the beer. I mean, some guys put it in their beer thing, but those are places like Hooters that sell like maybe 20 kegs of beer per day.
Yeah.
All right? And they typically, as soon as they hook up a beer keg, it's going to be finished within 48 hours. Because it's not recommended that this stays in a beer keg for much more than 2 days. You know, it's going to start spoiling the beer, because the beer itself already has CO2. So you don't want to put more CO2. It's going to make you fart too much. Serious. Trust me, I used to drink a lot of beer. I guess I have quality control. Oh, you know what? This time, we still have 1 more week for this class, right?
One
Yeah,
more?
yeah, one more.
Yeah, one more.
So the same thing. I have one of those coolers that cools the beer line. I'm gonna bring it in as soon as I get my truck fixed. I have-
Like a little
You've been
like a
saying
kegerator.
a lot of things you're bringing in.
Yeah, my truck, here, the guys fixed my truck, they changed coil and what have you. Now, 3 more freaking coils went bad on the truck.
I have a truck.
So, I
Like
can't
the
drive
kegerator,
it.
like the standalone kegerator type thing.
Well, I'm not gonna bring the keg.
Oh, man.
I'm just gonna
Bring
bring,
it forward.
I'm just gonna bring the glycol cooler,
Okay.
so you guys can, guys, I'm gonna bring it just.
I have a truck, I pick it up for you.
Write it down so you don't forget.
No, I'm not gonna forget, just,
He's waiting
I want
on
my
it.
truck
That's a
fixed.
real party.
Amen.
That's a real party, bro.
Should we cover cascade system? The only place you will see cascade system, guys, is where we have, when we go down to very low temperatures, we may want to operate at, say, negative 120 degrees. Keep a little room at that. But
Keep
to
the
have,
room at negative 120.
yes.
That's for like science, like
Yes,
frozen
that's right.
animals and disease
But
control.
what happens, if I can't build a
Square mic.
compressor
Yeah.
that is gonna go from handle negative 120 temperature and handle the head pressure that's necessary to condense that
So
refrigerant.
if
My-
you bring it down
my,
a step.
My suction will be here, and my discharge will be all the way up there. That compressor ain't gonna. So what we do is take 3 different systems. System 1, for a stage, cools, goes down to, let's say, medium temperature, 35 degrees, right? And it's gonna cool the condenser coil of my second stage, which is gonna take me down to negative 50. And negative 50 is gonna cool the condenser coil of my last stage, which is gonna take me down to negative 100 or 125 that I need.
Oh,
Which is
why you need
how it works here, you see? This is cool, the condenser is cooled with the evaporator from one coil, from one system, then that system's condenser is cooled there, so you go lower and lower, because ultimately you have to reduce that head pressure
to get
to very low, so that you can get that low temperature.
on the surface.
But if you happen to work in a hospital or any place with lab that do tissue samples, the reason why they want to go down to 125, and I think that's a cutoff point, that's the lowest, that's the highest temperature. Lower than that is okay. It's so that they can slice these tissue paper thin, like transparent that you can actually see through, so they can, when they put it under the microscope, they actually will see through, they will see everything.
So it's just like when you're cutting meat.
Yes, you see
gotta
when you
breathe.
cut in meat,
Yeah.
at a butcher shop, that walk-in at their prep room is held at 28 degrees,
Yeah.
all right?
I know.
Which
I
is
used to know that, but-
like 4 degrees below freezing. So the meat is formed. So when you cut into it, it slices like it's a piece of vegetable. All right. So this is how cascade works, and you will see it in, like I said, in hospital. If you guys go by Stony Brook, you will see outside of the what do you call it? The
Is that
science
those big
building.
nitrogen tanks? Is that what that nitrogen tanks
The
are
Stony
for?
They
Brook
have
lab.
nitrogen.
The Stony Brook's got a lab over there.
Yes.
Yeah.
They have nitrogen out there with some big thing look like
Right.
radiators.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's what it's used for.
Yeah,
That's
the Stony Brook lab.
that's their. Let me see if I remember.
Well, I remember we did a freezer for Cornell University that had to be like minus 90.
And they use.
I don't know what they used. It was, they had to order the gas in. My boss and the other
Oh, wait a while.
foreman worked on it.
Those gases that they use for cascade system, they're called exotic gases.
Exotic.
Exotic, because one pound will sell for as much as $3,000 to $5,000.
They actually,
One
I think,
pound?
One pound.
I think, yeah, they had to order the gas in. And the gas didn't come in a regular, it came in
Well,
like
it came in
a
the.
special container.
Yes, because that container can freeze if you move it around and it's exposed to.
Oh, it was a thick,
so
almost
it
like
has,
an oxygen
it has to
tank.
be double walled.
It was thick, yeah.
Double wall.
Yes, you know, freeze.
And this was for like I said, Cornell University.
So, you know, those gases, you wait until the last moment to audit and put it in the system, and because you want a system that absolutely leak-free. Nobody's going to pay $5,000 a pop for you to add in 8 ounces of gas, you know?
Yeah, it was minus 90 is what the freezer was at, and it was for the animal disease. They were testing the animal diseases.
And you know what, guys? Maybe in the
It was all
next,
for the ducks,
in
particularly
the
for the
next,
ducks.
That's
Crazy, minus 90.
in the next 20 years, not even 20, maybe in the next 15 years, you will see a lot of carbon dioxide refrigeration systems out there. And it's set up just like the regular refrigeration system where you have a compressor, condenser, receiver. Okay, but the only difference is that CO2 is a refrigerant and you do not have to get a license from EPA for that. Same as if you work on ammonia system, you don't need a EPA certification.
Well, that's not really fair then.
What?
Because anybody can do it.
Yeah, because that's organic.
It's organic.
Yeah, CO2 is naturally occurring in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Ammonia is,
you, right?
Do nothing.
we are only in high concentration. You know, I mean.
Being blasted in the faces.
Whoa.
Oh, by the way, you got to be careful with CO2 if you let go that from the tank, because it is going to freeze you at atmospheric. It boils at -109.
Minus 109 it boils at?
Yes, when it comes out of the tank as liquid. So that guy I knew, you ever see that Terminator guy that got frozen with the liquid nitrogen, and what happened to him? He broke in pieces. You're going to break in pieces too. Actually, that's a good way of getting rid of somebody who does that.
Blast them with nitrogen, liquid nitrogen.
Yeah,
Dump them and
They're
then
shattered.
Yeah. Get a dustpan, drink that bitch up.
55-gallon drum.
Just sweep them up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sweep them up.
I'm going to go to 11 because 11 wouldn't take long, maybe like that. Come on, why the heck are you taking? Most of you see here is some photographs of how to set up a walk-in box. You guys did that, but it's on your syllabus, so I have to go through it, even though I'm just going to thing. So,
You set up a walking box, yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
Huh? You also
no,
know.
Yeah,
this is how to erect the structure there, box, not the refrigeration system. How to erect the box and how to size evaporator and compressor. And drain pipe in and troubleshooting. Actually, we went over drain pipe in already. I think we'll see the hook and pin arrangement here.
Yeah.
This
That's
goes
what we
in and
have.
strong with that key. That's a 5/16 Allen key.
That's the one we have.
Yeah.
You also doesn't look anything like that. You use the wrong key. That's why you couldn't.
I don't have that key, but you know what? Brantford
No
didn't,
excuse, no
Brantford
excuse,
didn't have
Mike.
it.
They had it.
I'm not hearing that shit from you, Mike.
You know,
Brantford didn't have it, and I had one that
when we first got that box, the 2 boxes, we ordered 6 of these keys. They were here.
Yeah.
Well, they're
6
gone
keys
now.
come with it. Normally, each box come with 1, and we order 4 more too, but I don't know where they are.
They're gone.
Oh, come on, 2010 to now, it's going to disappear. If we order things today and it disappear by the time this afternoon over, much less 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but any 5/16 Allen key, the long Allen key will work. Sure. But the thing is, these boxes were not designed to be put together and removed like every Monday morning. Because what's going to happen, number one,
That's gonna
this
fire.
there is going to get worn out, not the key, the insert.
Insert, yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to get worn out because it's very thin. It's thin like this.
Right.
You know, it's not designed as a system to be tore.
Well, there's a lot of them that are worn out in there.
Yes.
Because they're breaking down.
Yeah, because
Right,
it breaks
just
it
like
down
how they,
and
you know, break it
refit
down,
it.
break it down.
You know,
You
the
ready?
more you harass it, come on, the more it's going to get worn out.
Yeah.
And you see these here, they get bent at they're not the strongest. Because what they're sitting in here, they're just sitting in a piece of, either in the foam or in a piece of wood. That's behind that.
Right.
Yeah.
All right? And
So
typically they put 2x4 right behind this and route out a hole here to slip this into
And
the
they don't
2x4.
hook, they'll stop hooking, they'll stop catching.
Yeah, and see, these boxes were made in Brooklyn. They're not the strongest. All right.
bullshit.
Be honest, it's some cheap ass boxes.
Wow.
The bullshit.
So,
I mean, that one looks nice, wood pegs and.
yeah, but you see,
Fancy.
this is just a dowel pin to line up these.
Yeah.
But you see with this wood here, they can't put wood that's been treated against moisture,
No.
okay? Because it's gonna outgas, and it's in a food area. This typically is in a kitchen.
Mhm.
And this wood on its own, it's gonna absorb moisture anyhow you look at it.
There's moisture
Wouldn't
in it
that,
to
wouldn't
begin
that
with.
like the that application right there, wouldn't that would like swell?
Yes,
And
So then
it's
that's
gonna-
definitely not taking that bitch
you
down.
need foam.
Yeah.
And actually, this yellow foam is better than that white foam. See? Because you get more insulating. This has a higher factor,
Oh,
U
God.
factor, and R factor than that. So the U factor of this wall is higher than the U factor of that. And they always get the biggest guy to do this job.
Wow.
Yeah, because the bigger the person, the stronger he is, so he alone can erect the box.
So, yeah.
Oh.
You know, you don't know. I feel so. Typically, what they do is your floors, guys. These floors, absolutely flat and level. What we normally do is when the guys cast the floor, you know, the cement cure and everything, just get a hose and spray some water. And if it pools anyway, they have to kind of put self-leveling cement and get that thing, because eventually what's going to happen, because the floors are made of the same way that this is made, it's going to sink right at that spot with weight
And it'll buckle.
you know, traffic. You don't want that. This is a tiny box.
Just,
One person can direct that.
Yeah.
looks like they can
And
ship
actually-
it. Looks like they can ship it just like that.
I've seen box like this. I actually work on a box like this where left to right I touch the two walls, and this is the door, that's the back wall. And when I go in, I have to bend them, and this is the top.
It's just the smallest one you can get.
When you finish working on that blower unit in there, you need somebody to lay you down and put two come along on your foot and neck and stretch you
For
out
you
very
stretch
slow. Because it hurts.
That's how I felt coming out of that attic the other day.
Yeah.
It needed to be stretched out.
Oh yeah, you were in for a half hour.
So, walk-ins, some of them have pre-manufactured floors. You don't necessarily have to. You can put it on a concrete floor, a regular walk-in 35-degree box. But if it's a freezer, you do not want to put it on concrete floor like this.
This is drawing one.
Yeah, remember 2 days ago I told you guys it's going to draw out the moisture. But some places, if they choose to put it like this, it's on a piece of floor that's been constructed for a freezer.
It's got insulation
Freezer,
under
because
it.
it has the insulation and the plastic, the
Paper
moisture barrier,
the moisture
paper
barrier.
Yeah.
barrier, everything it has there. And it also has foam insulation. So it's designed for that. And these are safety releases. Regardless, you know, you can put a padlock on this door and I can still release it from
Yeah,
inside.
you can.
Right? And that's a law.
That's
If
a
you
lot.
don't have it, you get a nasty fine. Actually, they can close your facility for that. And you know, if the
There's
health
no way to
department,
open it, even if there isn't one.
if the health department walk in and they see that, they can tell all your customers, "Hey, get the hell out of here." They don't even have to pay. The customers don't even have to pay. So you get hit twice in your pocket. You know, the customers get free food and you got to pay the health department. Wow.
And then they
Bitch
say,
blurry,
yeah.
yeah.
So this is the emergency release for some of those doors. That's another type of release. Normally, this is where you see the push handle. And, you know, for the kind of price these go at, they had better be good, you know, that you can release them. Because door locks and door hinges, they're not cheap. You know, that stupid as that door lock look, it's cast aluminum. It's about $250 for that.
Yes, you look right. $500 in your hand.
So, what the hell? Okay, come up. Take your time. See these hinges that say cam lift? As I open this door, there's a slope right under here and this door goes up.
Yeah, that's what the one you got in the back.
Right?
Yeah.
So that as you release the door, it's self-closing. All right? Up to a point where you open it. If you open it wide back here, it's not going to close itself. But
And so it closes itself.
yeah, that's, and as it goes in, for it to seal onto the gasket, because the gasket has a little spring, this here pulls it that final 1 inch or less and snap it right into place.
Right.
Yes, so that's this either come either there's a spring in here or a cylinder that's a hydraulic cylinder that has oil in it. Some of them has air, but the air type, I would advise you to use it. Hydraulic is good. The spring is so-so. The spring one always breaks too. So hydraulic is like about the best one to use there. And you have to be careful with this thing, guys. If you pull this door, and actually when you open this door, this little black thing goes and lay flat on top of the door. If you want to check that thing for operation, see if it snaps back, you know how fast it snaps back, be very careful. Always push like this. If that's it, always push here. Do not put your hand like that because that thing snaps with a lot of force. And the reason I'm telling you this,
I've done it before.
I've done it before.
That's
And they're hard.
and that's on the list of things what not to do?
Yes. That's the first time I cursed myself that bad. And if you hear the language, you will never say it to your worst enemy. It does work.
Yeah. I can curse myself too.
Believe me, I got a whole list of things what not to do.
Oh, yeah.
Mine's building as we speak. Daily.
Now, did we discuss door frame heaters? We
Yeah,
did, right?
mullion.
Mullion heaters. This is what it's like. Typically for a walk-in, this is right by the hinges where there's a junction box, and you hook up this heater. This heater is replaceable because there are strips with covers on the door frame. It's not in the door, it's on the door frame.
Right.
And you just remove the snapping strips, change those heaters, and you staple it on with those wire staplers. And staple it wrong and wrong, even under this, because you remove this threshold and pass it under. So if I have a door that's 70 inches high by 30 inches wide, and I need a heater for that, it's going to be 70 plus 30 multiplied by 2, because I'm going wrong and wrong. So it's going to be 270 is 230, which is
Well, that's the
200.
perimeter.
Yes,
Yeah,
which is
perimeter.
200, right? That's my door closer. And where's my pressure relief port?
Right up top.
Oh, there is always a pressure relief port, and in some cases it's heated. Because what happens if I close a freezer door and I don't have that port, that freezer door stays, it can pop back open, number one. And if you do get it closed,
The pressure.
The pressure differential will keep it closer. When you go to open it now,
You can't open.
you can't because the pressure from outdoor pushes against that door. So the equalization port allows the two pressure to equalize so you can open that door without breaking your back. And it is heated, or it can come out without
Is that
being
on
heated.
all of them or just?
Technically, it's supposed to be on every single box.
Because I mean, that could keep you stuck in it. So that,
Yes.
the pressure, if you can't open the
If
door.
you see,
It's
even
that
though you
bad.
push it, it takes a lot of strength to open that door if you just operated it.
Yeah.
So, you know. No, I don't have to tell you guys how to plumb and level a box and door. That's common sense. Which is what all of these is, how to plumb and straighten out your boxes. And see, there's the next corner.
I think that's a little.
Yeah,
It's a little common sense.
Yeah.
yeah. This is common sense.
It
Now,
might be, it might be.
I mean, you know a door is gonna, if the door's square and the frame isn't, it's gonna get cocked and stick in one spot and not hit
okay,
on the
now
other.
this is and
It
I'm
is
gonna go
break
through. Turn on the light and let's go to. I'm gonna take a break.
Can't figure that out. I know who you are. You're that multifaceted too, right, PJ?
Oh, tell me that rubber hammer.
You're that multi-
Turn on the light for me,